Hey, welcome to my channel where I teach the Bible. And this is the main message for the day for Saturday the 17th of December 2022. Hope you subscribe, hit the bell, make comments, help me get this out to more people. Take a look at a little verse, Hebrews 9:14. It's a powerful verse, and I call it a cleansed conscience. Wow, a cleansed conscience. Have you ever done stupid, sinful things that blemished and dirtied your conscience? I sure have, especially when I was young, between the ages 16 and 23, a complete knucklehead in those days. But I have, and I think most of us would be honest. We've all done some things that kind of made our conscience dirty for a time. Right after I turned 16, we had a sleepover at a friend's house, and his parents were out of town. They said, "I want you boys to come out here," and I think there were 5 of us, and spend the night, by yourselves. They were out in the country, kind of outside of Flagstaff, Arizona. And they were out of town for the weekend, so we went out there, and my friends and I. And my friend's older brother bought us some beer for the first time in my life. And I always remember this night. I tasted beer. My family would never allow that to happen. So from the age of 16 to the age of 23, I drank a lot of beer and other alcoholic beverage. Dumbest things I've ever done were done during those years under the influence of alcohol. And some of those things would make your conscience dirty, fouled, okay? Lots of things in those years blemished my conscience. It is clear and clean now, and has been since a couple of weeks after I turned 23, when I got on my knees and surrendered to Jesus Christ as my Lord. So how do we get a cleaned conscience? Good, Hebrews 9, verse 14. How much more then will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself unblemished to God, cleanse our consciences from acts that lead to death, so that we may serve the living God? 4 issues lead to a cleaned conscience. First, the blood of Christ cleanses us. The blood of Christ cleanses us. Hebrews 9:13, the verse just before that, says this: "The blood of goats and bulls and the ashes of a heifer sprinkled on those who are ceremonially unclean sanctify them, so that they are outwardly clean." That means it's temporary, okay? The blood of bulls and goats cleansed the Israelites ceremonially, making them ceremonially clean. It was outward, and it worked until the next round of sacrifices. But the blood of Christ, offered through the eternal Spirit, cleanses really, cleanses totally, cleanses internally, and for good, okay? Jesus' blood doesn't just do the fix until the next offering. It fixes and forgives sin on a permanent basis. And we are forgiven, and our sin is covered, meaning we no longer need to feel the guilt of a conscience because of the dumb things we've done in the past. We remember them, but the guilt is removed because the sin is forgiven. Result, a cleansed conscience. Second, Jesus offered himself unblemished. Grab that, okay? He was without blemish, meaning he had no sin. The perfect one died for the ones who were imperfect. The sinless one died for the ones who were sinful. It took a perfectly sinless offering to cleanse us so totally that our sin was removed and our conscience was clean. Jesus offered his life and his blood unblemished for us. Result, forgiveness and a cleansed conscience. All cleaned up. Third, Jesus cleansed us from acts that lead to death. The sin Jesus cleansed when he gave his life and his blood for us led to death. The sin we committed lead to death. So what does that mean? Those sins will separate us from God and cast our life eternally into the lake of fire, will cost us our life for eternity. But he frees us from those deeds that can kill us and send us to hell. And that freedom is so complete that it even cleanses our conscience. That's how complete it is. Fourth, the blood cleanses us from guilt and releases us from what holds us back so that we can serve God. You know, before I was cleansed, I had no desire to serve God, get as far away from that as I could. But after my conscience was cleansed, I wanted to serve God. With a cleaned conscience, we want to serve the living God because we are released from the guilt of the past, the guilt of a guilty conscience, to want to serve God. I still remember the things that dirtied my conscience. Some of them were, you know, I call them horrible. There's probably other people that have done worse things. But Jesus' blood cleansed my conscience, and I'm free from the stain of the sin of the past. My conscience is cleansed, and I hope you'll join me there. I will talk to you soon.